I thought I'd never say this, but it's good to see everybody here. I always looked at this day as Groundhog Day, but I no longer do. But no, it's great to be back. We're obviously this time of year gives us a chance to be around the draft prospects, but just to give you an update where we are. We, as a coaching staff, we've had a chance to get through all the video, and we're starting to build the playbooks, offense, defense, and special teams, and it's now we're starting to formulate how we're going to put it together with our roster. Obviously, we have a lot of free agents, a lot of business decisions in front of us, and we're still working through that process. But just excited to be here and to get the draft process started. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, what are your early impressions on the Cowboys organization?
The Cowboys organization, it's a unique place. I've enjoyed every day there. The energy is awesome. I think you feel that from the first time you walk through the doors. So it's the passion, and it really starts with the Jones family, just the way they approach everything. So I've really had my head down, and I think like all coaches, when you're in that first year, you're just trying to get to the next meeting, get things organized, and because there's a lot of things that are different for all of us. I got a lot of coaches on my staff that I have not worked with before, so just putting together protocol, policy, the approach, and everything everything that we do. So whether it's from game management, football technology, going to Oxnard for training camp, so we just have been grinding through all those things and just trying to make sure we're ready. We will be ready when the players get back officially April 6th.
Is Dak Prescott your franchise quarterback?
Dak Prescott? No, definitely. I mean, it's exactly where we want to be with Dak. I think what he's done to this point, speaks to itself. I mean, and really, Dak he's in a business situation right now. I've gone through this as a head coach with a number of my players in the past, and I think, like anything, it's just time to be patient and let the business people work out the business matter, and that's really where we are as an organization, and that's where Dak is in his personal flight to get a contract done.
Any concern about him not getting the deal done and missing the?
We can just go one at a time. I'm not in a hurry.
Any concern about if they have to tag him and he doesn't get the deal done, not being available for the offseason?
Really the hypotheticals. Really, it's not really anything I've ever spent much time thinking about. We'll just take it one day at a time, and it's a business matter. So, obviously, all the things that are involved with that, those are really for Jerry and Steven and Dak's representatives.
Hey, Coach, the play calling games that you're used to using, a number of players here, they only know signs. Have you given thought to adjusting it for the modern college player? Because they only know signs coming off the sideline as opposed to, toss 38, halfback lead, fullback pass to Y.
Okay. Awesome. I think you got to look at all those things, and really, you have to have a basis, a language, a starting point, and then with that, you do have signs that that pull all that together, because no huddle, 2 minutes. So, but yes, it's important to be very aware of the system that the player that you bring into your program, where he's come from. I've coached receivers that during their college career, they just looked over to the sideline and they ran one of 5 routes. So that's all part of a normal adjustment into the league. And I think your point is well taken. But those are things you can learn from as a coach, and how you can use some of those thoughts and ideas, signals, as part of your 2-minute no huddle offense.
Back in 2012, you said you'd never give up play calling again. What made you change your mind?
I have a new job, so I get to start over and take all those never again statements back. But no, I think when you just look at the big picture, these decisions that I'm making, particularly early in my tenure, I've had a lot of time to think about it. I've had a chance to study the opportunities that were in front of me for quite some time. And Dallas was the one opportunity that was something I felt was important to keep the current offense in place because of the success that they've had in the past. The productivity on offense is very high. So there will always be things that are different. I think anytime you have a coaching change, that's obvious. Our approach to offense will change. The design of how we put things together will be different. but it's important to build off of the successful concepts and particularly the language that's in place. And I'm excited to work with Kellen, and I've really enjoyed our meetings. So I really like the way he looks at the game.
Mike, what was your experience like? What was your experience like interviewing with the Giants before you got this job, and were you surprised you left there without an offer?
Well, I had a great experience with the Giants. Really enjoyed the day that I was there. First-class organization. Can't say enough about John Mara and just, the time that I was able to spend there. So it was a lot of fun. Thought the interaction was good, but, hey, it's a process and things happen for a reason, and I'm very blessed to be a Dallas Cowboy.
You seem rejuvenated after leaving or departing from Green Bay. What did you do after that happened, and are you excited about this new opportunity with the Cowboys?
Well, I'm excited about the opportunity with the Cowboys. I'm trying to say that as I'm rejuvenated, give you some energy there. So that's what my media coaches told me. Not that, and I don't have, but with that, I've had a year off. I mean, I think like anything in life, if you have a chance to step back, reflect, and really, take the time to be honest, be transparent about the things that you can improve on. That's all been part of the process that I went through leading up to getting the job in Dallas. But frankly, I haven't reflected 1 minute since I've arrived in Dallas because like everybody, the coaching staff, we've had our head down and we're grinding away. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's a great opportunity. Being at the combine is always fun. I mean, there's always great energy, in this whole city when the combine comes to town. So I'm just thankful to be here.
What are your thoughts after all your years in Green Bay, leading the team to the Super Bowl? In the background, you always put your players first. Now, as the head coach of the Cowboys, it's going to give you a lot more national interest on you this year. Do you feel that? You'll be more of the spotlight?
Not really. To me, it's always, this game will always be about the players. And you can never lose sight of that. I mean, the locker room, it's something that I've always preached as a head coach. The locker room is the most important room in the building, and all your resources and your attention and your energy needs to point towards that because they play the game. They're the performers. They're really what this game's all about. So coaching's important. I'm not saying that at all, but at the end of the day, they're the priority. So, and I think that needs to be the case.
Mike,
You said Dak Prescott was the type of quarterback that could lead to a championship. Why?
Well, I think, number one, you just look what he's done in his time in the league. I mean, I think he's been impressive. I know I've been impressed with him since the first time I saw him play live, up in Green Bay when they came to Lambeau there. So first impressions I think are very important when you see quarterbacks on the field because in-person evaluations, particularly at that position, I've always carried more weight as far as how I felt about a player. So I think he's gone off to a great start. He's built a really good foundation. I'm told he's a tremendous leader. So in my philosophy, as we get with the personnel department, and as we go through that, I mean, the defenses get you to the championship. The quarterbacks win championships, and I definitely feel Dak is that quarterback.
what are your thoughts on the new?
I'm sorry.
You had interactions with him lately?
We've been in touch. Yeah, we've been in touch.
Just by phone call? Or?
Yes, just once again, he's going through this business situation, and I think we all need to respect that.
Piggybacking off of her question, the last 4 times the Green Bay Packers have met the Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay has won that. Now that you're the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys, can you bring change in Big D?
Well, I mean, our goal is to win every game, so I mean that's why we're prepared a season. So it doesn't matter who the opponent is.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the newly proposed CBA?
I'm just watching like everybody else. So.
What's the importance
you talked about
familiarize yourself with Oxnard before you get there, kind of get some facilities?
That's a great question. I'm actually going to Oxnard here in a couple weeks. I'm going to spend a day there Thursday, 2 Thursdays from now, just to walk the property and we're gonna meet out there. so I can see it and just see how the operation and how it flow with our. I have a proposed schedule that I'm thinking about already for training camp, but the function of it is obviously what's most important, and so we're working on that. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It makes sense to go there. I know everybody in the organization speaks very highly of the training camps out there, so I think it's something that's needed for our football team, and looking forward to working on that.
Mike, a question about you talked about the players, the importance. Next big event's the draft in Las Vegas, and just how that perception, how everything's changed. And not only the Raiders in Vegas, but now you got the draft coming up in Vegas. Just your thoughts on that, Al.
Well, I mean, the draft in Vegas, I think it's great. I haven't been to Vegas too many times in my life, so I'm sure it's grown a lot since the last time I was out there. And I think, the NFL being a part of the landscape out there is awesome. So the draft, what they've done with the draft, the event that's created, I think is phenomenal for the fans. And at the end of the day, anytime you can make it better for the fans, it's good for everybody.
Losing your quarterback school your QB school that you did in the offseason was something you always kind of lamented after the 2010 CBA. And your time off this year out, have you had a chance to think about how to rework that, or are you kind of also waiting on this season?
Well, I mean, it's always been reworked since 2011. I mean, it's just how you integrate it. The beauty of the old system was you were able to have 3 or 4, I think it was like 3 weeks where it was totally uninterrupted. You were out there every day with the quarterbacks, just in a one-on-one atmosphere. The time in the classroom was plentiful. So now it's regulated, so you have to build it into the into the off-season program. We'll start that in phase 2. So there'll be components of the quarterback school that'll be part of that schedule.
Hey, Coach, during your time off, was there a particular offensive attack you had the chance to watch that caught your eye? You said, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. We were able to gather trends, put together trend tapes. So there's a lot of things conceptually that were of interest, and it's not as much new plays, just really variations of concepts that you've used. And my experience is the NFL is like a big cycle. There's concepts that come into play in the 90s and go back out and come, are starting to come back in. You're seeing a lot more two-back offense that's coming back into the league. Last year, particularly with the success, when you look at New England, the Super Bowl run 2 years ago, San Francisco's doing a great job of it. So you just pay attention to those trends, and it's more about the variations that come off of the things that you believe in.
But real quick, into the draft with the Raiders, what are the biggest needs? I guess you've gone over personnel with the Cowboys already. What are the biggest needs for this team, and how different is your player compared to what's on this team already?
Well, I think when you talk about needs, you can't have enough good football players, and I always point to my past experience in 2010 when we won the. All right, so 2010 it took 77 players to win a Super Bowl. So I've never really, I'm not a believer in you're one player away or 2 players away from winning a championship. So you want to have as many veterans as you possibly can. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to coach a more experienced football team, but that rookie class is so important, and really bringing that veteran group and that rookie class together is really where the really good teams take a big step, particularly in November. So just paying attention more to those types of things, and making sure that how we install and how we lay out this off-season program, we're able to get the veterans up to snuff, but more importantly, when that rookie orientation, when that new group comes in, that we can get these guys meshed as fast as we can.
Is there a position you're looking for that you see you're lacking right now?
I think, like anything, you want as competitive a roster as you possibly can. I understand where some of the obvious positions people want to talk about, but our free agents list is high. We're 25, so my first goal is try to get as many of those guys back as we can. And then see what we can add, because as a coach, you always want to have the most competitive roster you possibly can.
Hey, Mike,
On the note of getting those guys back, Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb both hitting free agency, do you anticipate them on the roster? And with Randall, who you've worked with before, how much would having him in the building help your transfer?
I think definitely. I mean, the goal is to have both those guys back, and Amari, I thought he having a chance to get through all the tape as a staff. He did a lot of great things on tape, and it really looks like he's in sync with Dak, and I'd even say Randall even more so. I was very impressed with Randall last year. I mean, he was banged up a couple of years prior to that, but I thought he had a heck of a season in Dallas last year. I was very impressed with his video.
Do you have anything to say about the rhetoric with the Tom Brady circus, where he's going to land? How somehow, some way, Dallas ended up in the mix?
I don't have no comment on that.
How have you talked to them with Jason Witten and Sean Lee together about?
Say it again.
How have you talked to them with Witten?
Good. I've had a chance to talk to both Jason and Sean. Sean's traveling right now, so have a chance to see with him. Jason, we had a chance to sit down at length and talk about a number of the things that he's thinking about. So, but those decisions and how we move forward, that's something that we'll see how it shakes out.
Mike, how difficult was last year, Mike? I mean, your family's in town. You have to drive past Lambeau all the time. Just how difficult was it?
Difficult?
Yeah, you last year.
I didn't think it was difficult at all. I mean, I had to go to rehab every day next to, I went to the Bell and Titletown Orthopedics. It was right next door, so I got to see Lambeau probably 3 or 4 times a week. So I mean, it's part. I don't know. Do you live in Green Bay, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to go anywhere up there without seeing the stadium. So it's no. It was, that's where my kids are born, and that's their hometown, and so really the year off was very beneficial for us as a family.
But when you're surrounded by Packers all the time, isn't that tough at some level, considering all the energy and heart and soul you poured into the place?
Oh no, I have great memories and positive thoughts about my time there, and I'm thankful for not only the opportunity to coach here, but the relationships that I will always have. I have a lot of close friends that still work for the Packers, and the community that we live in there, that'll always be part of our family.
What's the importance level of upgrading special teams this offseason? How much of a focus is that as the new league?
Very important. I think when you make the commitment to special teams, your roster needs to reflect that. So that's something as we get into the evaluation process, even with the draft picks and the veterans that are out there, that we're special teams is just not second nature. They're not offensive guys that play on special teams. So it's a focus of ours, and I'm excited about what John Fossil brings to our organization.
How are you watching games for our season on the couch or wherever? Did your thoughts change at all on replay or the sky judge?
I think like a lot of things with officiating, those guys are in a tough spot, and I think anytime you want to improve decision making, when you give individuals more responsibility, that might not be the best road to travel. So I think what the league's doing and the conversations that they're having, it's very healthy. Just talking to Stephen Jones about this last night, we're definitely talking about the right things. Education between officiating and coaching is something that I think we can all continue to improve on, and the collaboration will only make it better. So, the Sky Judge is an excellent resource. I mean, I think it's something you have to look at. But I think it's like any resource. If it's not integrated into the everyday operation, I think that it's probably not as productive as you'd like. So, ever with the league decides and the committees decide, I think the fact that they're really talking about the right things and trying to make it part of the normal operation, I think will definitely improve.
Hey, Mike, what are your thoughts on a couple seasons of the proposed CBA, one being a 17-game season and the other being an extra playoff season? What are your thoughts about those particular?
I mean, the extra game, I think when I think of the 17th game, and I also point to the preseason. I think going to the third preseason game, makes total sense. I think everybody's in agreement on that. The fact that you could, potentially have 2 weeks to get ready for your opener, I like that. I think it gives you a chance to really take a step back, because that last week is difficult, because you got a number of balls in the air where you're trying to pick your 53, make sure you're getting the young guys the opportunities, but you're also trying to get ready for the opener. So I think going to 3 games makes perfect sense. I'm excited about that. The extra playoff game I think is awesome. I think playoff football, there's nothing like playoff football. It's a whole different level, and everybody that's been involved in playoffs understands that. So, and I think it'll definitely be great for the fans. But playoff football, having an extra team in there, I think will be awesome.
How will you be working with Stephen Jones to evaluate players this week?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How will you be working with Stephen Jones to evaluate players this week?
Well, I mean, we have a network, an operation. Stephen and Will McClade is very impressed with what they have in place here. Especially from a technology standpoint. Their analytics set up the way they go about it's different than some of my past experiences. So I'm looking forward to it, and we're off to a good start.
What's your plans on interacting or counterbalancing the new Washington defense after they allegedly draft Chase Young, and the fact that Philadelphia Eagles have won the Division II of the last 3 years? What's the plan for Dallas to get back on top of the division?
Well, the good thing is we got a lot of time to answer that question. So when I figure out what my team looks like, I'll probably be better suited to answer your question.
Last one, guys.
What's on using the read option?
I'm sorry?
What's on using the read option?
The read option, I mean, it's definitely been a weapon. I think Dak has done a great job with that. It's something he has a lot of experience, both him and Zeke. You can see it's something that they do very naturally. It's part of the cut-ups and the evaluation that I've been very successful. So, and I just think when you look at the way, he's built and, in his experience in that particular concept, it's definitely something that we'll use moving forward.
Mike, you never had a lead running back full time in Green Bay. I always said you're a quarterback-focused offense. How does that relate?
Well, I mean, making a quarterback successful, I think, is really common sense. I mean, it's really the part of the bylaws and how the West Coast offense was designed. So, I mean, that's what I always believe in. But because he touches the ball every play. I mean, and he's the player that's going to have the ball in his hand at the most critical part of the game, in the fourth quarter. But as far as your playmakers, you got 5 premier positions. Obviously, running back's one of them, and you get the ball to your playmaker. So Zeke will touch the football, plenty in our offense. So I mean, really, so when I say it's all about the quarterback, it's not taken away. Someone has to give the ball to the playmaker. So it makes sense to develop that way. But yeah, Zeke will be a primary focus for us offensively.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.